Hello and welcome to STRIQE News, your news headline service for UK retail and beyond. Our headlines today include lunch gets more expensive from today and Tesco delivers another period of growth as we look at the Kantar World Panel 12-week view. In our first headline, supermarket Tesco has increased the price of its meal deals by 25p today. Consumers will observe a 7% increase in the deal at the till, with prices rising from £3.60 to £3.85 with a club card, and from £4 to £4.25 without. Additionally, the retailer is increasing the price of its premium meal deal by 10% from £5 up to £5.50 with a club card, while the price without a club card will rise from £5.50 to £6. A Tesco spokesperson said, "Our meal deal remains great value and the ideal way to grab lunch on the go at just £3.85 for a main, snack and drink when bought with a club card."
This week, Kantar published its 12-week ending grocery market share report up until the 10th of August. The reading from Kantar showed Tesco's growth at 0.1% share versus the previous month growing to 28.4%, while Sainsbury's drops 0.1%, returning to 15%. Tesco's ongoing capture of market share doesn't quite tell the story. With their share of the market, these small increments represent hundreds of millions of pounds of extra revenue, contributing a significant portion of the UK's total grocery expansion. Its strategic pricing and loyalty integration via Club Card are proving decisive in a high inflation environment. Aldi and Lidl continue to edge towards 20% of UK grocery, as Aldi at 10.8% and Lidl at 8.3% continue to drive performance with store openings and seizing the momentum as consumers continue their migration towards own label and price-sensitive shopping amid persistent cost of living pressures. Co-op showed a strong recovery in share versus the previous read, regaining 0.2% from July, helped undoubtedly by the great weather in the last 12 weeks and people shopping whilst out on the move. And as Co-op continue to build their on-demand grocery capability, it will be interesting to see if Co-op can recover their shares from a few years ago. That leads us nicely onto our Kantar focus versus 5 years ago, where the brief hiatus in lockdowns and the COVID fear bubble was driving unique shopping behaviours. Looking at comparisons versus 5 years ago, we can see how UK grocery has evolved through the cost of living crisis and our return to post-pandemic habits, albeit some shifts that haven't changed. Let's start by looking at convenience. An undeniable reduction in market share from pandemic shopping behaviours of both the Co-op and Symbols and Independents, who are both benefiting from locality to shoppers, availability in the weekly shop, and support networks for older people. And let's look at discounters. Spring forward 5 years from the pandemic, and nearly 5% gain in market share, growing their share of UK grocery sales by circa a third. This share of sales are delivered as both Aldi and Lidl have significantly increased their store numbers and market penetration during that time. Gains here can be attributable to losses in other retailers, most notably Morrisons and Asda, who have both suffered as the German discounters build trust and loyalty with a population caught in a cost of living crisis and squeezed in the middle classes by rising costs and more expensive mortgages. And we close our focus on the Kantar World Panel data by looking at the traditional Big Four retailers who demonstrate mixed fortunes, mostly driven by the haves and have-nots, namely those retailers who've established loyalty card schemes versus those retailers that don't. Tesco this year are celebrating 30 years of Club Card, and I'm pretty sure that Terry Leahy and his team were not thinking about how tying a loyalty card to unlocking branded promotions would create defensibility in their market share, but my is it working. versus 5 years ago when COVID suggested that Tesco would lose out to Ocado and Asda with their e-commerce capabilities and online capacity. Today tells a very different story. And despite Ocado continuing to deliver another claim at being the UK's fastest retailer, it remains Tesco who are the largest one, with Sainsbury's holding their position and Asda and Morrison's showing huge losses versus 5 years ago.
And that was today's headlines from STRIQE News. If you would like to subscribe to our channel, then do so in the link below. Please share with friends and pass on any comments. We'd love to hear how you think we could do better.